let's go ahead and get into the MVP talks, though. Uh, it's basically the same people up at the top of the league.
Certainly.
Everybody's doing really good right now, but Luka is standing out more than anybody out or anybody else, in my personal opinion. He's second in assists and third in scoring right now.
Yep. Yeah, Luka's my number one for me. That's not changing.
Now, Giannis is up there in scoring, and he is third or fourth in rebounds this year. But Giannis is Giannis. He keeps doing that every year, year in and year out. And what happens is it's almost like the LeBron syndrome, if you think about it. LeBron did these great numbers year in, year out, year in and year out, and would only be in MVP talks. Mm-hmm. If you just took away everything and didn't put a character or a name to who was doing that every night in and out, you'd be like, oh yeah, he should be an MVP. And if you look at Giannis's numbers for the last 3 years, it's like, oh yeah, he should be an MVP.
Yeah.
But it's almost like we're getting lulled to sleep with they're so good. We're like, well, of course they're up there. But what about this guy like Luka, because he's just now doing good?
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's just one of those things. It's happened. It's been happening here recently in the NBA, and it started with the LeBron era of they're just so good that we just kind of, back burner because you've been so good for so long. Who else is doing really good this year? It's one of those things. I don't know what I think about it, to be honest. I don't like it. It's almost like a popularity contest anymore, and not just based on stats. I think they should honestly just take all the stats, put them on a piece of paper, no numbers, and no names, and just be like, vote. Take these candidates and vote.
Yeah, there is an aspect where the name is involved. There's no doubt about it. But Luka's been amazing. In my opinion, he's sitting at number one for me, how he's just improved so well from last season and now sitting third in scoring. And you said he's tearing it up everywhere else. LeBron is having a great season, though. I mean, you can't take that away from him. Even with, having Anthony Davis ninth in scoring, he's 12th in scoring. And then he's leading the entire league in assists with 11 assists per game, which is outstanding for LeBron James. So I will say that he deserves to be in the talks, and not just his name in that aspect. But Giannis, yeah, he deserves to be in the talks too. And in my opinion, I still think Harden deserves to be up there. If you're the scoring champ right now, if you're leading the league in points and you're leading it by a lot, which he still is, not as much as last week, but he's still about 6.5 points per game higher than the second place guy, who's Giannis now, he deserves to be in the talks. And that's probably the four that I would say that's up there for me, is Luka and Harden and Giannis and LeBron. And unfortunately, 3 of those names we hear all the time. So to me, it's a nice little fresh breath of air that we got Luka in the talks.
Absolutely, but that's the thing that worries me sometimes is when Giannis got his MVP, it was because he was a fresh breath of air, because he just came off of most improved, and then he came out with a better year. And like you just said earlier when we were discussing the fact that the Raptors, Pascal Siakam, he should be in the MVP talks with what we were just discussing earlier, because he just came off his most improved. He's a fresh breath of air. Why don't we throw him in the talks too? I mean, he is scoring good, he is doing good, but the point I'm trying to make here is that the names we always just talk about sometimes just get lulled to sleep because of the new guy coming in and doing good and stunning everybody. And, I mean, with Giannis, he's consistently doing it, so could we see a back-to-back MVP? It's very possible, but I don't know. We'll see. I think Luka's going to get it because he's the new guy and he's fun to watch. Let's go ahead and get into